It's
Okay.
Metro Detroit city.
Michigan. So it's what, probably a couple hours ahead or 3 hours ahead?
Where you guys at?
I'm in Pacific. I'm in San Diego.
And you are 3 hours ahead of me.
Okay. Awesome. So it's almost what, 7?
Eight
Oh,
o'clock.
8 o'clock. 8 o'clock. All right. Very good.
I
Very
think we're
good.
covering all the time zones here.
All right. Hang tight, guys. Hang tight. We'll get started here in a few more minutes. I'm just going to go on mute and take off my camera real quick just to kind of check some logistics. So just stand by.
Steve is here. All right. Hello, Mr. Daly. I see you booked your call for Friday, so I'm looking forward to it, Stephen. So did everybody bring their calculators today, or is that tomorrow? One of these days, we're going to need some
I
math.
have a calculator. That may help.
Well, I'll try to keep it pretty simple, but when we get into the actual deals,
Then we get a
uh,
template in Excel, and it makes a whole lot more sense.
that is true. That is true. You will be building Excel sheets for a long time. We've got templates though. We're working on a deal right now. It's a hospitality deal, 25 million, and that spreadsheet, I think one of my mentees opened it up for the first time and had a little bit of a scare. But once you go through it, it's not bad. All right. Who else is
Somebody
coming
messed the
in?
template up. I hate when that happens.
Oh, Rob Andrews, iPhone 54 is Rob Andrews. All right, Springfield, Illinois. Awesome. So can everybody let me know if they either are or want to be an agent or a commercial loan officer or an investor? And I know that there's going to be some overlap, but just either unmute yourself or type it in the chat. Because we have something for everybody and everybody kind of needs to start out with the same skills. So if I can, I will customize a little bit. Investor, commercial loan officer. Okay, awesome. Okay, investors. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter, how you're involved with commercial real estate. At the end of the day, everybody wants to or needs to end up as an investor. That was my journey. I wanted to become an investor, and when I started doing research, I realized that I really needed to be really good at financing. So I decided that was going to be my entry point because I wanted to be an insider on that side of things. So, and now all my clients, I can tell them when they start yelling, I'm going to increase their interest rates. So that keeps everyone in line, and they kind of believe it. They think that I have the power to either increase or decrease the interest rates, which of course is not the case. All right, who else do we have in here? Investor, loan officer, investor. We like the 70% funding up front. Okay. All right. Also, anything specific? I know we kind of asked that question before the challenge about certain property types, certain asset type, because we're going to cover, commercial in general. We have a couple of examples of deals that we've done that are all across the spectrum, but if somebody wants additional information, let me know. I know multifamily and storage usually are the most popular. Net assisted limited. You know what though, recently a lot of my clients have been asking me about triple net. People are starting to kind of get a little fatigued with the asset management side on anything other than a triple net. So I'm seeing a lot of that right now. Warehouse storage. Okay, warehouse is another awesome asset. Okay, mini storage. Mobile home parks, love it, love it. That's a great asset type. It's very profitable, a lot better than multifamily in most cases. But it was like 5 years ago, I think one of the big Wall Street firms tried to consolidate and gain some market share, so it became really difficult. But they've kind of backed off, so it's again a good time to get into it. All right.
Welcome, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. All right, look at that. Hey, Dylan, glad you could make it. Terry, Mike,
Dylan, hey.
Eric, welcome. Yeah, turn on your cameras, guys. We'd love to see your smiling faces. If you're driving, we totally understand.
Well, just
Uh,
let them know that it's being recorded though, so everybody can make an informed decision.
yes. All right. All right. Well, it's 5 o'clock. I know some of you, very much like me, like to start on time, end on time. My dad was in the military, so if you're on time, you're actually late. So I appreciate the folks that came in a little bit early because that's like my dad. You're there 15 minutes early, you're actually on time. So welcome, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to go ahead and officially get started here. And feel free to use the chat to participate. We want to have a lot of participation, engagement. And we do have a number of slides, so we're going to go through all of them. So,
Oh,
so
sure.
if we feel like a question's going too long, we might say, "Hey, hold off. Maybe save it towards the end." Because we're going to have a little bit of Q&A at the end, and I'm sure some of you might have dinner plans or what have you. So we will interrupt. We're not trying to be rude. We're just wanting to make sure we give as much valuable information as possible. And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and get things going for us. All right. So you guys could see the screen okay. Yes, thumbs
There we
up.
go.
Put a one in the chat maybe. Yeah. All right. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you. You guys could hear me okay? Awesome. Thank you, Dylan. All right. So we are here today at the Commercial Real Estate Investor Club, your first real estate commercial deal in 3 days. You're going to learn pretty much the A through Z's. We're going to go through as much information as possible to get you the foundation. You could actually take this information and start running and maybe perhaps get your first commercial deal here. Okay. And we end on the 21st. So today's the 19th. We're going to be ending on Friday and it starts at 5 p.m. Pacific. We're only going to go for about an hour. So please make sure that you are here ready to go, have your refreshments, snacks, whatever you need to do to keep focused and participate at the highest level. Suzanne, I think there's a few more people in
Yeah,
the waiting room, so just
I'm doing
let
it.
them in.
Yep, I'm on
Perfect.
it.
Thank you. All right, disclaimer. You're going to see this often, and so should you do the same practice as you are more involved with commercial real estate investing. You want to make sure you put some kind of disclaimer out there because this is definitely a big boy, big girl kind of game. And liability with everything that's going on, this is our disclaimer. We're not your attorneys. We probably have some in our group. We are not your personal tax pros, but there's probably some in your group. As needed, seek your own professional advice. Okay, we will get into things that you might question, but you have your own professionals. If you don't, definitely start putting your team together ASAP. You are here because you are either an agent, a loan officer, an investor looking to triple your income with commercial real estate. Just a little bit background on me. I am also in real estate as a agent broker, and yeah, I too pivoted and so could you. What you'll learn, how to transition from residential real estate agent or mortgage loan originator into a top performer in commercial real estate. One of our chief aims is to add another zero or another comma in your paycheck or your commission check. And how do you do that? Well, you're going to go after a bigger ticket item. Some of you are in a state where you're probably selling 500,000 to 1 million. Well, think of how many transactions you need to do on single family to get to the 5 to 10 million. You could do one deal on commercial real estate that's 5 million or 10 million versus maybe 10 or 20 deals in single family. How to become an investor in commercial deals that dwarf the ROI and cash flow you've come to expect from residential assets. How to analyze commercial real estate deals with confidence. Discover your roadmap to your first commercial deal. What you'll also walk away with is increased confidence, because I know some people that they really don't get into commercial real estate because they don't have the knowledge. And without knowledge, you feel unconfident about moving forward on these deals. But as you learn how to underwrite property, as you know how to speak the language, have the buzzwords, verbiage around talking to commercial brokers, that'll increase your confidence. You'll get that here. You're going to have higher clarity on the commercial real estate investing roadmap, a valuable community of like-minded investors. I mean, I could see a few heavy hitters already in this room who have very, very impressive resumes. And in the inner circle, that's where you're going to really see the people that are like the movers and shakers in the whole community of commercial real estate and within our specific club. You're going to have strengthened commitment to building your CRE portfolio, and hopefully you get as fired up as I do. I mean, I've been in this commercial real estate game, real estate in general, for going on over 30 years now. I know I probably started when I was about 2, and you guys are correct. I'm kidding. No, but I'm actually been in this game a long time, or over 30 years. So I'll get into that here in a second. What to expect? This 3-day challenge will provide you with the knowledge, the roadmap to get your first commercial real estate deal. You're going to have number one on day one today, the foundation. Okay, the 6 pillars of every commercial deal. Day 2 tomorrow, we're going to go through underwriting analysis, and we talked about bringing your calculator. Definitely bring your calculator. Use your computer, use your own underwriting sheets or Google Sheets for the analysis. And day 3 is the roadmap, actually how to get your first deal in 90 days. Whoops. At 5 p.m., we are going to start on time, end on time. Like I said, we might spend or invest overtime, especially if we see a lot of engagement. Okay, so feel free again to participate, ask questions, what have you, because we want to make sure you're getting incredible value. Meeting link also available in school community. As a matter of fact, if you could put a 3 in the chat, who's in the school community? Let's see a 3. And if you're not, maybe Susanna, you could put the link to school in the chat. Who's in the community already? All right, John, Steven. All right, perfect. Okay, I don't see a whole lot of 3s. Okay, so we don't have a lot of people in the school community. All right, iPhone 54. I like that. All right. Yeah, so we need more 3s. You guys should definitely take advantage because there's already some training available right now on top of this training. So be sure to get into the school community. Did you find the link, Susanna? Please put
Yeah,
it.
yeah, I'm doing it. Yeah.
All right, perfect, perfect. All right, so let me share my screen again because it looks like not a whole lot of people are in our community. So I'm glad I asked. All right. What else you'll learn? Okay, so how to break into the closed door commercial real estate world that deliberately keeps most agents, MLOs, and investors locked out, including the insider connections and private networks that control the 6-figure deals, and how we're giving you the keys to get in. If you are a seasoned realtor, put a 2 in the chat. If you're a seasoned realtor doing residential, I'd like to see the 2 in the chat. Any seasoned realtors? Put a 2 in the chat. Go ahead. Because you know that a lot of the commercial real estate, all my realtors out there, the commercial deals are usually not on LoopNet. They're not on CoStar. They're not on Crexy, and they're done off market, right? And so, Eric, yep, you know, you're nodding your head. Yeah, these big deals are really, really juicy ones. You'll never see them happen because a
So,
lot of it's off market
we
and
can't see your screen.
pocket listings. Oh, I'm not sharing yet. I took
You
it
know,
off.
okay, sorry. And
I
then
took it off
also
on purpose.
Dylan is raising his hand for some, I'm not sure if he was telling you you're not sharing or if he had a
Okay.
question.
No, he's good. He's good. Thanks, Dylan. And thanks, Susanna. All right. So yeah, make sure that as you get involved with commercial real estate, don't burn bridges, right? It's one of those things too, when you start connecting, building your dream team, that man, you're gonna be well respected, especially if you know how to talk the talk, walk the walk, sound like you know what you're talking about when you talk to commercial brokers. Because as a residential agent, I've been around a long time, and I know when I talk to these fix and flippers when they just came from a boot camp, right? I could smell it, I could hear it. Okay, and that's not our intention here. We want to help you level up so you could play this bigger game, commercial real estate. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen again. And once in a while, I'm going to take it off. I want to see who's in the crowd, who's in the room, who's participating. Um, all right, so what else you'll learn? You're going to learn the 5-minute deal evaluation formula, and that instantly tells you if a commercial deal is worth your time or a complete waste. You, instead of burning so many weeks analyzing bad deals, you'll know in minutes whether to walk away or not. If you're already in the insider circle with us, you probably were on the 4 o'clock group call earlier, and I shared my buy box. I shared exactly if it doesn't check these boxes, you're walking away. So if you're in the insider circle, you're in our group, that thing I just recorded it for you guys. You're going to have access to that here shortly. Obviously, we're in the challenge, so it's not there yet. But I talked about my specific buy box on that group call. All right. And what else you're going to learn? The commercial loan strategies that reveal exactly which commercial asset banks are eager to finance, because not all banks are lending openly like before. As a matter of fact, as this market is turning and turning, they're becoming more and more conservative. Okay, so you got to be aware of like, okay, if I'm going to have some sustainability in commercial real estate, which kind of properties or asset classes are trading right now? And what I would also recommend for you is if you're going to play this game, you want to get 2 to 3 asset classes that's going to become your favorites. Okay. Uh, don't pick them all. Narrow it down to 2 to 3 asset classes, meaning for me, multifamily, storages are my two. Okay, I'm looking more into mobile home parks and retail, but my sweet spots are multifamily and storage. Okay, and I own both of them. Um, and Susanna, feel free to jump in. I know we're going to have a stop at slide 21, and I can't see the slide what number we're on. So
I'll stop
please,
you. I got you.
okay, thank you.
Yeah,
I can only do so many tasks.
I got you. Yeah, I
So
figured that
thank
out.
you.
I've got 2 screens going here. Yeah.
All right, beautiful. Appreciate you. And the instant credibility system. I touched up on that a little bit. Again, some of these people that are playing the fix and flip game, they go to this boot camp, they paid $97 or $9.97 or whatever the investment might be, and I could smell it. Being a broker investor for a long time in the game, I could tell if they just came from a boot camp. And in our group, I promise you, that's the stuff I'm going to teach you how to sound very, very credible. If you're an existing coaching client, we go through scripts, objection handlers, and we just grill and grill and grill, and that gets you stronger and better doing all these reps. So you're never going to be dismissed as just another residential agent, and command respect in every negotiation, even on your very first commercial deal. You're going to become a top earner. The insider secrets that separate the top 1% in commercial real estate from everyone else. Revealed directly by industry veterans who have closed hundreds of millions of dollars in commercial real estate transactions, and why most agents never learn these game changing strategies. Coming up tomorrow, folks, is exclusive reveal of our commercial real estate launchpad program, the exact implementation program to get you your first commercial deal. So, like I said, within this 3 days, you're going to have enough of a foundation, whether you continue with us or not, take it to the next level or not, you're going to have plenty to start doing deals on Friday after Friday. Okay, so be here every single day, be here on time, participate, ask your questions. If you're in the school community, you know the fee. I mean, Susanna's time, my time, we're charging $1,500 an hour for our time, and we could definitely justify it with our years of experience and tons of deals. You know, it's like going to a generalist doctor or a specialist doctor will charge more. Do you want to go to a generalist doctor for brain surgery? Of course not, right? So that's why our time is worth X amount of dollars on school. It's $1,500 an hour. You're not here by accident. You're here because something inside of you knows you're meant for more. And I congratulate all of you here today. Your camera's on, your participation. You've outgrown the grind of chasing small deals. You're ready to build a lasting wealth. The system you've been working in capped your income. Commercial real estate removes the ceiling. And think about it. You're not, if you're a licensed real estate agent, you just upgraded yourself. When you say you know how to analyze a deal, you know how to underwrite a deal, you know what a DSCR is, cap rate, NOI, you just upgraded yourself. You're not a dime a dozen, because the kind of ongoing joke is if you don't know a realtor, you don't know an agent, you don't have too many friends. And in some cases, that's kind of true. I mean, think about your circle right now. How many commercial agents, how many commercial lenders do you know right now? And I could bet on it, not too many of you know more than one or two, right? But if I ask you how many realtors you know, there's a lot of them, right? And so you want to be mindful that this is a different ball game. This is the big leagues, guys. Um, you're here to master the game the wealthy have been playing all along. Okay, and so here's some backstory on me. Some of you already seen it, heard it, and there's a lot more people hopping in, Susanna, if you don't mind.
I got it.
Um, I'm gonna share a little bit about the Joe Mendoza story. Some of you know me, some of you don't. So I'm gonna go ahead and share it to give you some context. So this is a little picture of me, and yes, you know what they say. I've been rich, I've been broke. Rich is better. This is a picture when I was broke, when I was really, really struggling and just getting involved into real estate in general. Um, I, like some of you, were analyzing these commercial real estate transactions, stuck in residential, really overwhelmed with the numbers. It was making my head spin, right? Fast forward, when I really took it really, really seriously, here are some of my recent accomplishments. Since 2014, I basically re-entered real estate. Prior to that, I had been a real estate broker since 1998. Okay, and in 1998, fast forward 10 years later, we hit the mortgage meltdown, right? The market crashed, and I pretty much lost millions. Um, 2014, I was able to hit the reset button, got back in, bought my first property. Then I bought another property. I regained my confidence, regained my credit, became a limited partner in multiple syndications. I expanded my portfolio, moved. I still have some residential now. I have some commercial assets. I have storage facilities. I have done a lot of capital raising as well. And if you look at my overall net worth, I don't want to sound too braggadocious, but it's pretty decent. So I own a magazine. I have diversified. I have multiple streams of income. If you follow me on social, you could see there's a lot of great supporting people that also have worked with me, coached with me, have been my client, have been my investor. So you could totally check me out. I wrote
So,
5 books,
Joe, I
and
wanted
I'm
to
writing
say,
more.
sorry, something you said something so important that I think everybody needs to know is the fact that you went through the downturn and you were hurt, actually physically bleeding, like a lot of us were. But this is why I think our what we contribute is so much more valuable because we've made the mistakes and now we're helping people not make them again.
Thank you, Susanna. That is exactly correct. That is a big reason why this community has been brought to life is I don't want that for anybody. And I don't know how long I'm going to be around. So whether it's my new friends here or my family, they could mitigate their mistakes or their losses. So thank you so much, Susanna, for pointing that out. And some of you know the word cycle tested. Susanna and I are both what we call cycle tested. Some of these gurus, influencers out there, they only had their license maybe 5 years, maybe less than that. And they're taunting that they're experts and they know this and that. And they're using Chat GPT a lot of the times. And we were pre-Chat GPT. Okay. And so a lot of these different things that we're teaching, man, we had to do it the hard way. Okay. School of Hard Knocks. And that was simply my journey, my passion, my true passion, what I really get a kick out of. I think I see somebody in my networking group here from when I spoke earlier this afternoon. I did a presentation. Big passion of mine is to truly help others. I love coaching, training, teaching. I've got all this wisdom, all this knowledge. I've invested literally over $300,000 of real money into courses and boot camps and masterminds and one-on-one and this and that. And it doesn't stop. I'm not saying that I'm done. I actually hired some more coaches and more trainers and learning more just so I could add more value to this lovely planet. That's my book there. That's one of my favorites, Flex with a Plex. You can find it on Amazon. That is good foundational framework. So whether you move on with us or not, I would pick up that book. It's on Amazon. It gives you great framework to really start to multiply your portfolio. Listen to my podcast. I've got some oldies but goodies in there with other very heavy hitters, influencers that I know, like, and trust that are in the commercial game that you might want to check it out. It's still out there on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, what have you. You could listen to it in your car. And what others have to say about us. I'm going to play this quick video.
Expensive. At Commercial Real Estate Investment Club, we got some stories for you.
Could hear it okay? Mhm.
The guys
Not
and gals
really.
that are running this club, I mean, they all know what they're
Okay.
talking about. They all have the resumes to prove it. So it's good to get around people that have done it that can really give you the guidance to hold your hand so you can do it as well effectively.
It is complicated. So you got to have the right teaching, and he's probably sure know where to go. And so talking to that, sharing with us.
Okay, I'm going to actually, since the sound is a little bit muffled, I'm going to stop it. But maybe, Susanna, if you could put that in the chat and they could watch it at their leisure. It's about a 2-3 minute video on a live presentation we did for a lot of our inner circle VIPs. And you could see that we are very established and looking to improve and grow. And it's also, again, if you're not on the school community, make sure you get into the school community because that video is also there. Okay, so play that. It's on YouTube as well. And let me keep moving forward. All right, and some of you know this gentleman here. He's one of my mentors, my coaches, Tom Ferry, the legend. If you are in real estate, residential real estate, this is on Instagram and I think TikTok, where he says, "Hey, Joe is a man. I watch all your stuff. It's amazing, blah, blah, blah." So I got a great endorsement from Tom Ferry, who is a legend in the coaching residential real estate space. So that just hopefully says a lot about who I am. Some of you know the person on the right in the red sweater shirt. He's also a heavy influencer. I've been in several masterminds with him. I've spoken on stage with him. That's Dan Fleischman, one of the youngest entrepreneurs ever to build and sell a publicly traded company. And that's where I spoke in front of a large group. I've been on multiple podcasts, talked about my story. I'm very open book. I said earlier that I lost millions. I'm not ashamed of it because in every shift there is a gift. And I want you to start becoming a victor, not a victim. Okay, I'm going to say things during this training to hopefully change your mindset as well, because to get into commercial real estate, you need to change your mindset. There needs to be a paradigm shift, maybe just right here, that will turn that light bulb on to keep you going. Okay, and I'm very open and transparent about my life. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was me. I want to welcome the amazing Susanna Royce to our group, and she's going to share her story.
All right. Thank you, Joe. So I've also been where you are. So I'll just walk you through my journey. We'll go kind of quick. So I started in corporate world and became so depressed about having to be somewhere at 8 a.m. every day. So I started really reading books about how to build wealth and kind of get out of the rat race. And I read a book about commercial real estate, and I just decided right there and then that that was going to be my vehicle. And I realized pretty quickly that I needed to understand the financing, because I kind of got the numbers pretty quickly, but I was like, well, how does the financing work? And there's so many different options. I felt that without it, I really couldn't be effective. So I applied to countless commercial analyst jobs at commercial loan offices, but I didn't even get an interview. Because the doors to commercial real estate a lot of times are closed. If you're in residential or if you're not in real estate at all, like Joe said, if you don't know the lingo or you're not super fluent in commercial real estate, people don't want to talk to you, brokers don't want to talk to inexperienced people. And now I have to say I'm guilty of that too. When I get a call or an inquiry from somebody who doesn't even know how to ask the right questions, I know it's going to be an uphill battle, and I just tend to move on to people who kind of can, keep the pace in commercial real estate. This happens on every level, and just a fun fact. So I'm working on a close to a $90 million transaction right now. And the buyer almost didn't get the deal because the listing broker has never heard of them and just didn't think it's not an institutional type purchase. So he had to really fight for this deal. So then I discovered that the best way to get into CRE is to originate deals. And then I discovered a formula to do this, which we're going to share with you today. And I truly 100% believe that everybody has to go through this formula. So I started landing my own clients and closing commercial transactions. I got recruited by a nationwide commercial finance company, and commercial checks started rolling in. I still love those and do it every day. And immediately jumped into investing for myself, because that was basically my primary reason for wanting to get into commercial real estate. So I started buying my own commercial portfolio. Income went to 7 figures, and started buying apartments, land, and other commercial real estate. And now, you may be wondering if this is for you. Sorry, I'm not keeping up here. I think, Joe, that's you.
All right. This is for you if you struggle with massive competition in residential real estate. An outsider looking into commercial real estate and loans, lost loans or listings to competition, worked weekends in residential. We're hoping or encouraging you to maybe pivot. This is for you if you already know real estate. Now you're ready to understand the money behind it, You're ready to replace uncertainty with a clear, repeatable system that creates confidence and credibility. Now, I know what you might be thinking. I don't know where to start. I don't have the right connections. I don't have enough experience. I don't have a roadmap. How do I get from there to where I am now? If this sounds like you, here's the truth. You don't need any of these. You just need the right system. If this sounds like you, remove distractions. What you learn today can transform your wealth trajectory forever. And let me know when to stop, Susanna.
You got two more.
And if you stick around to day 3 on Friday, fully engaged on Zoom, chat, school community, ask questions, folks. You'll enter a chance to win a scholarship to our program, which I will be announcing on Friday. And before we get started, these are some of the different deals we and our clients have done.
Yeah, I'll walk them through these deals, Joe, if you want to go to the next one. So here's 400 multifamily units in Phoenix, Arizona. And I just put some numbers together there for you so you guys kind of get an idea of what these deals look like. So we've got 3 groups here. We've got agents, we've got LOs, loan officers, right? And then we have investors. So the agent gross commission was 2.94 million. The loan officers gross commission was 700,000. The cash flow was roughly 1.6 million a year, 133 a month. The purchase price was 98 million and the loan amount was 70 million. So, and that was a large transaction. We work on, the entire spectrum, although we try not to go below $1 million. Here's an industrial property in Detroit, Michigan. So this was a cash out refi for 2.2. So the loan amount was equal to 2.2. The agent gross commission was 440,000. And the reason why I'm wanting to show this to you, just because if somebody is used to dealing with residential, some of our numbers are pretty similar, but once you start kind of going up there in transactions, the difference is significant. LO gross commission was 22K, and the cash flow was for the borrower was about 31,000 a month. Let's go to the next one. This was the little one that we did in Florence, Arizona. Agent gross commission 90,000. LO made about 12,000, and the borrower walked away with about 3,000 a month. And I believe this was their 3rd property. This was one of my favorite transactions. The buyers made so much money on this. They actually ended up doing a 1031 exchange into a much larger deal. 128 units, multifamily. Agent made about 900,000, and this is gross, right? Because everybody has their splits, and I don't know what those splits are. Loan officer made about 120, and the cash flow to the investor was about 28,000 a month. This was a purchase for 18 million, and the loan size was 12 million. This was a crazy transaction. I still have kind of PTSD from this one. 224 units. Purchase price was 65 million. Loan amount was 37. These are not easy deal, guys, but that's just commercial real estate. Believe me, it's worth it once you learn how to do this. Gross commission was 370,000, and the cash flow was about 48,000 a month. Here's an office building in Florida. This was a purchase for 12.85 million. Loan amount was 9 million. Agent gross commission, not agent. LO commission was about 90,000, and the cash flow was about 8,000 a month. Industrial building, also in Florida. For some reason, Florida is really active in CRE transactions. Purchase of 11.25 million. Loan amount was about 7.8. Gross commission was 78,000, and the cash flow to the buyer was 6.7 thousand a month. But let's talk about some people, right? So these are the types of deals that we do, but let's talk about what do these deals do? So we'll talk about our first example is somebody who was a W-2 earner and got involved in commercial real estate specifically. They just jumped straight into syndicating. Vinny was an IT professional, learned how to use OPM, so started syndicating using other people's money, basically got a bunch of investors together, purchased 6 multifamily deals over 3 years, sold, so the purchase was over 3 years, and he exited between year 5 and year 6, sold the whole portfolio for over 300 million. It was in the papers, fully documented. And he did have investors in these deals, and he also used financing, but it netted him over 15 million personally. Then we have Chris. He wanted to jump in as a loan officer, is not an investor. He was a residential loan broker. He learned how to break into commercial real estate and started earning bigger commission checks. He's actually now a trusted advisor to a few more sophisticated investors, started originating and closing commercial loans. In his first 6 months, he closed 3 deals, and his gross commission was over 120,000. Then we have Sarah. What slide is this? 55. Joe, this was you want to talk about Sarah?
Yeah, absolutely. So Sarah is currently and still is a coaching client of mine. We do one-to-ones, and so high income earner needing some, tax breaks here and there. She had a pretty high liquidity and she was looking for more ways to benefit. And I told her about, hey, you should maybe buy a commercial building or commercial property. She bought residential most of her entire life in being in residential. And I told her about this, and she ended up getting a Dollar General, and it was a triple net lease. And now she has income, massive passive income, more than some people are making at $80,000 a year. So that's truly exciting. Where now she's, got this one, and she's going to buy more, and we're going to probably do some 1031 exchanges on some of her residential and really start moving our portfolio around to get more into the commercial space. Greg is also another commercial client, coaching client that I had that played in the residential world a lot. He was doing a lot of fix and flips and being an agent, and just got burnt out being an agent, showing house to house, sacrificing nights and weekends. And so I started doing a balance sheet underwriting with him. And basically, that's where we started. I wanted to know where he's at, what properties we have to move around and get into commercial property, do some 1031 exchanges, started talking the language of development because I do have some experience there as well. And he started with multifamily, and now he's totally pivoted 100% away from residential, and he's killing it on land development and multifamily.
I think he was a speaker at one of our online events, the VIP events that we did a few months ago, wasn't he?
Yeah, so Jimmy, when you get into our inner circle, Jimmy is actually one of our people in our VIP list inner circle that you might be able to communicate with. So depending what part of the country you're looking for deals, being in the game as long as Susanna and I have both been in, we've got connections all across the country. And so Jimmy is in Georgia, and he was heavily into residential. And we started talking more and more about commercial. And he developed this 16 unit from the ground up. And so he bought a piece of dirt, regular piece of dirt, had the right zoning. And, he put this 16 unit development together, and it turned into a buy and hold, not a fix and flip. And he increased his net worth and his passive income. Amazing fellow. I might have him speak again at one of our VIP events. And then Mike was actually a commercial broker. So just because you're a commercial broker, I want to know, are you investing in your own product? So I really, really encourage Mike to get into owning and being his number one client, a buyer. And then, we started talking about different states throughout the country, and he had some family and friends in Alabama, and he wanted to mitigate his risk a little bit. So he started in Alabama, specifically Birmingham, and he bought multi units. He bought, I think, a 16 unit first, and then now he has a 20 something unit, and now he's working on his third where he's going to really start pivoting away from being a broker agent because some of you already in the game, you could get rich being an agent, you'll get wealthy being an investor. So keep that in mind as you really start to play the CRE game.
Yeah, just like Ajay, who bought 2 apartment buildings with the help of investors. So he also jumped in straight into the syndication game. His cash flow started at 15,000. The reason why I said started, because the longer you own it, your cash flow goes up because you're increasing your rents or your lease rates. And his current cash flow is about 23,000 a month.
That's
Good to the
awesome.
next one I've got, and this one's gonna go pretty quick. So these deals look amazing, but it wasn't always easy. Here's how I kind of figured out the formula. So I'm gonna tell you a little quick story. So before getting into commercial real estate, I was stuck, as I said, in the 9-to-5 corporate job. And then I came across this book in commercial real estate, and that's when I decided I'm going to jump in. So this book really opened my eyes to the massive opportunity, because before then I had no concept of how people get out of the rat race. So I decided, this is my nature, when I see something, I'm going to jump all in, but I didn't know where to start. So I started calling up local commercial listings, pretending to be a buyer, even though I really wasn't, so I could learn the process. I started pretty good at finding listings. However, I didn't know how to actually finance them. So until I came across a 70-unit multifamily listing after pretending I wanted to buy it. And then I was referred to a commercial mortgage broker. So I met with a mortgage broker, and he explained to me how to finance a 70-unit apartment building. And I peppered him with questions for 2 hours, during which I realized this is the key part on being successful in commercial real estate. Without it, it's just the key part of leverage, right? So I asked him for a job. So I need you guys to tell me, what do you think he said? Type it in the chat. What did he say? All right, we've got a couple of yeses, a couple of no's. All right, Joe, what did he say? Let's go.
Let's go. Hang on a second. Sorry. Had to let a couple more people in. Sorry. Oops. There we go.
He said no. Go figure. So I got up to leave the building, and then the true story, I was walking down the hallway toward the main exit, and I could smell somebody smoking a cigarette. So what did I do? Of course, I followed the scent in the office, and I told this man, this is sitting there literally with his feet on this desk. So I said, hey, do you know it's illegal to smoke indoors? And he said, what are you going to do about it? So this is going to reveal my true nature. We'll go to the next slide. So I said, well, I'm going to have one with you. So I waltzed straight into his office. This is when I smoked. Lit up a cigarette and just, okay, we're smoking. So he's shocked and confused. The man asked who I was and what I wanted. So I told him my name, and then I said, well, okay, well, I'm Susanna, and you are? And it turns out he was actually the owner of that commercial brokerage. So I introduced myself and told him I wanted to work for the brokerage. And he said, you start tomorrow. So that's how I landed my first job in commercial real estate. I didn't know anything. I didn't have a foundation. I didn't care. I just wanted to be around it. I wanted to learn it from ground up, and I just wanted to be in the energy and meet all the players. But I did all the grunt work. I did the coffee runs, the car washes, the booze runs, the lunch delivery, you name it. I was doing it. I never said no to anything because I was there for a different reason. So for 18 months, it really taught me that the foundation is required in commercial real estate. You cannot skip this step unless you're an actual pro, even if you've had some dealings in commercial real estate. And I know I've seen like a SBA lender here in our group, so obviously that's a professional. But if you aren't, you must have this foundation, and it's part of our program. That's why when we reveal the method, you will understand that more. Without that, you're not going to be able to have the conversations, and it's the conversations that move the needle in commercial real estate. Without that foundation, nobody will take you seriously. Oh, I think I got to 94. So the next steps then. So once you have the foundation, then what's the next step, right? So what do you do with that? Who do you talk to? So I was a little unhinged. I would literally stand in front of, like at the entrance of a local steakhouse, and everybody that walked in, I would ask them, hey, are you in commercial real estate? Hey, are you in commercial real estate? And if somebody said yes, unfortunately, they had to, you know, drink the drink that I insisted on buying them while I picked their brain. But, you know, your options are agents, brokers, title agents. What's the roadmap, right? Where do you go from there? And that's where we can add a lot of value, because I've done it the hard way. Joe has done the hard way. So now we know what works. I mentor people. I've got about 10 mentees right now. And I always point them in the right directions. Like they all want to do this. And then I say, no, 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 come back here. Only this will move the needle. So that's the roadmap. And we've condensed all these years into trial and error, after trial and error, into this 3-day challenge. And you take it from here, Joe.
And it's one simple formula, guys. The FAR method, FAR. If you've been around me a long time, you'll probably hear me say this more than once. Alone, you're going to go fast. Together, you are going to go far. And so we've come up with this formula called the FAR method. F stands for foundation. You need some kind of level of foundation. You build a building, a house, without a strong foundation, it's going to come crashing down. So we want you to have a strong foundation. A, analysis. When you get into the game of commercial real estate, we want to make sure your underwriting is solid, because numbers don't lie. And it's all about the math, right? In residential, you want to do more sales? Well, become a better salesperson. You know, feed into the psychology, feed into the emotion. Commercial real estate is nothing like that. You don't know the numbers, you're done. Okay, so we want to teach you how to be great underwriters. And we are going to have a proven roadmap to really help you succeed in this commercial real estate world. Okay, before I show you, or we show you how you can turn this method into income, let's agree, commercial real estate is the best way to build wealth. Yes or yes?
Yes, and when they say most millionaires are created in real estate, they mean commercial real estate. It just goes without saying. That's what they mean.
Absolutely. So type of 1 in the chat if you agree that CRE, commercial real estate, is one of the best paths to wealth. Let's see it. Type of 1 in the chat. Are we seeing enough ones there, Susanna?
Yeah, we're getting some ones. We got a yep, yep. SBA
Sure.
said yes. Okay, they agree.
Perfect, perfect. I can't stress the importance of the FAR method enough, FAR. Here's what happens when you try guessing your way into commercial real estate. Risk of guessing your way into commercial. Jessica, the top residential real estate agent. Jessica landed a 12,000 square foot retail listing. She priced it using the price per square foot comps from Zillow and didn't verify the leases. Half the tenants were month to month. A serious buyer asked for the rent roll and the T12, the trailing 12. She had no idea what that meant. The client pulled the listing and gave it to a CCIM agent, certified commercial investment member agent. She burned her credibility in one deal. So if you're a residential realtor, residential listing agent, and playing fake it till you make it, you probably are going to leave hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars on the table and may never, ever, ever see it again. And Susanna?
It's still you, but I'll talk about Mike, the MLO. He had 15 years of residential loan success. A past client asked him to finance a $3.5 million mixed-use property. And this happens all the time. You've got residential MLOs, you know, because every commercial client also owns a home. So they end up just inadvertently talking to them. He quoted rates and LTV without understanding that NOI, not the borrower income, is the important driver here. he locked a term sheet assuming 75% loan to value, but the lender's NOI adjustment dropped it to 62. What do you think happened? The deal collapsed, went bye-bye, and Mike is bruised, and unfortunately the investor ended up not doing the deal. So
Lena, the
syndicate,
syndicator.
that's still you, Joe. Go ahead.
Yeah. Then you'll take over at 107 or 108,
Yep,
Suzanne?
107, yep.
Okay. Lena, the syndicator. So Lena raised $2 million from her friends for her first small retail center. She underestimated the tenant improvements and lease up time, didn't account for free rent periods or CAM, common area maintenance recovery lag. 6 months after closing, she ran out of cash and had to do a down around capital call. When you run out of reserves, you do a cash call. Investors don't like that, guys.
Ouch is right.
That's a major red flag. When you say, hey, all we need is this amount of money to the deal, and you do an additional cash call, that is bad. Her investors sued, saying she misrepresented cash flow, all because she guessed instead of modeling a year one burn rate. The good news is, guys, we will cover each component of the FAR method and leave no question unanswered. Today, we're focusing on the FAR, the F in the FAR method, the foundation of all commercial real estate deals. Your commercial real estate foundation, after teaching hundreds of people, is clear where you must start is a full understanding of each deal you do. There are 6 questions that you must know the answer to on every deal. So the takeaway, guys, make sure you write these questions down. When we get to the slide, feel free to take a picture. Look at the deals and answer the questions until you are fluent in deals. Your commercial real estate foundation, the F, deals happen through conversation. You must demonstrate casually that you know the deal, points, industry, and market. It's not a fake it till you make it kind of deal. Here are the 6 things you must know. All right, so feel free to take a picture of this slide. This is very, very valuable, folks. The 6 pillars of every CRE deal are the following. NOI, net operating income. What's the true income after expenses? Some people will tell you about the 1% rule. Well, what does that mean? When you really go through each line by line by line and underwrite the expenses, it tells you a story and how strong the property's cash engine really is. Is it stable? Is it underperforming? Or is it overperforming? What is the cash flow? How much money is left after paying the debt? That's what investors actually live on. When you do what we call the DSCR, debt service coverage ratio, and it's below $1, you're below $1, that is a red flag unless you have a good game plan of maybe stabilizing that asset. Number 3, cap rate. Really understand what the market's saying about this property's risk and return. Now, cap rate, I don't want you to be so consumed on this because depending what part of the country you are, you might have a little cap rate or a big cap rate. That we will get more and more into on days 2 and 3. So stick around and make sure you hang around for all these terms as we will go deeper and deeper. Take a picture of this slide. Feel free, save this one. What are the financing options? Okay, what type of loan fits it best and how does leverage impact returns? If you're going to do a turnaround, sometimes in residential real estate, you call it like a BRRRR strategy. Well, we want you to do a BRRRR also in commercial real estate, or you reposition and refinance. Okay, if you're going to pull your cash back out, you want a 3-year term, a 5-year, a 7-year term. These play into your underwriting. Buyer profile. Who would pay the most for this deal and why? Are you the buyer or are you representing the buyer? And really understand what is their buy box. Every buyer has a different criteria and a different buy box. Just because I have a certain buy box doesn't mean that one's going to apply to you or your area. Number 6, industry use case. What sector is this property serving? What's the driving demand there, especially if it's an owner user? Okay. When you start playing this game of real estate, your due diligence period is very, very imperative. I bought multiple properties, sight unseen in single family, and done very, very well. In commercial real estate, be careful. This is one of the things where, just because the pictures look very, very good on Google Maps or on their offering memorandum, man, I encourage you really figure out these underwriting criteria on number 6. Okay.
So let's
This
take a
is
look at the
Susanna.
deal. Oh yeah, I'll take it from you. So I know that that was a lot of words. We're going to actually take a look at a deal now, but I need you guys to understand the reason why we gave you the 6 pillars, the six questions that you have to answer. That's what builds your foundation. Like I will not speak to somebody who either needs a loan or is buying a property or wants to refinance unless they really know their deal, because I'll ask a question and if they start fumbling, I'm like, dude, you don't know your deal. So go make that deal your bitch. Understand every part of what drives it, why it exists. And when you do, then let's have a conversation because I can get you where you want to go. But if you are unsure or are uncertain whether you're a buyer, agent, or loan broker, I don't care. Like Joe is the nice guy here. Let's just be clear. You come at me and you don't know any of these things, we have a problem. So go back for a second, Joe. So let's take a look at this deal. This is an actual deal. I pulled this from LoopNet. It's actually, I think it's still probably currently listed. So we just took a 23-unit apartment building. So take a look at what information we're being given because we're now going to answer these 6 questions. Okay, I'm going to walk you through it. So pay attention, take an aspirin. Okay, everybody with me? So what's the NOI? So we saw on that listing, right? It's at Playden Place, address 23-unit apartment building, the purchase price. So now we start getting into the numbers. Up on top is 248,913 per unit and a 6% cap rate. Okay. So based on just the information that we were given, we can now figure out the NOI. So NOI is the gross income minus operating expenses, right? Everybody got that? So we're not told what the gross income is or the operating expenses. Can you go back for a second, Joe? But we can figure it out just based on the information that we were given up on top. So we know the purchase price is 5.725, and we know the cap rate is 6%. So here's the formula. Your net operating income is your cap rate times the purchase price. So if you take 5.725 times 0.006, now we know the NOI. So now we know the net operating income, and this is what drives your loan amount. This is what drives your DCR. This is what drives your whole deal. So this is the first question that you need to be able to answer about every deal. Everybody follow? Yeah, either nod or give me a 1 or something. Second question is, what is the cash flow? And a lot of loan officers or maybe some agents also don't always answer this question because they're all about the NOI and the DCR, and as long as those are in line, then we have a deal. But it matters to the buyer, right? This is really important. Why is the buyer wanting to buy this property? So the cash flow is your net operating income, which was 343,000, which we figured out based on our previous formula, minus your payments, your debt service, right? We're going to start using professional lingo, so we're going to say debt service, which is, and I'll show you how I arrived at this number, 283,000 was my best financing option. So that means that that property is going to cash flow about 60,000 a year. So this is a motivating factor. Number 3, what is the cap rate? So the cap rate is also stated in the listing. When we looked at that listing, that's what it stated, that it was a 6% cap. It's an indication of how strong or weak the income is in relation to the price. The higher the cap rate, the higher the income. It is determined mostly by market forces because it's, in specific areas like California, you have a low cap rate because real estate's expensive versus like Oklahoma, for example, where real estate is a lot cheaper in relation to the income. So what's the formula for cap rate? Cap rate is the NOI, which we determined, divided by the property value. And then the property value, which is determined by the price, is your net operating income divided by the cap rate. We got the cash flow, we got the cap rate formula. Okay, let's look at the financing options, which are on the next slide. So this is my superpower. Joe has the access to the same superpower. So we do subscribe to a system where we can punch in the deal parameters and it's going to spit out our financing options. So as you can see here in the second column, it's going to specify, who is going to finance it. Is it a bank? Is it a credit union? It could be a debt fund. It could be agency. It could be hard money. There's all kinds of different options. Just on this one, this is what came up with. So the loan amount is 70% loan to value. The reason why it is at 70% is because it's driven by the NOI, right? And 5-year fixed or 10-year fixed. But if you look at the monthly payment column, the one with the lowest rate at 5.85 is about 23,642. So I just annualized it when I was trying to figure out my cash flow. Does that make sense to everybody? Can somebody nod or give me a 1? All right, let's move on. Okay, buyer profile. So this is an investment property, so it's a little more straightforward, right? So this is an investor who wants to add $60,000 to their, passive income. But what if that was like a business that wanted to find space to manufacture their, I don't know, medical devices, right? So at that point now it really starts getting into a niche. So the seller here, also pretty straightforward. Investor likely just wants to do a 1031 exchange and trade into a larger cash flow, or maybe they're retiring, and the buyer is an investor. But just keep in mind that even though the answers to question number 5 are pretty straightforward here, if this was an owner-occupied deal, hashtag our SBA lender in the group, then we really have to dig deep. Banks have their preferred industries that they want to lend on. They have industries that they don't want to lend on. So just suffice it to say, make the deal your bitch and know the answer to every question. Let's move on to the next one. And here's the industry. We really literally just talked about it. So does everybody understand these 6 questions and why we need to understand them? Yeah. Okay. Joe, you want to take over?
Yep. The old way to get into CRE, commercial real estate. You can do it the old way of getting a 4-year finance degree. You could secure an internship. You could land your first analyst job or grind for 2 years before you see your first deal. The old way for investors, you need years of experience or a big brokerage to even be taken seriously. You spend months of cold calling owners with no real system or feedback loop. You could learn it on your own from random YouTube videos and end up being more confused. And then the old way for agents is licensing, right? You could get your license, spend about 1 to 3 months, depending on the state, depending on the state of the market. It might be super busy. You could go and do a training apprenticeship, join a brokerage, shadow, learn from underwriting, maybe 6 to 12 months, marketed specialization, focus on asset class, start prospecting. Now you're looking at an additional 1 to 2 years. And then on the 4th phase of your career, start seeing some deal flow and income, close first consistent deals. Then you're looking at 2 to 3 years to actually get involved in commercial real estate. So on the average, 3.5 to 6.5 years. Now imagine here, just for a second, that knowing the steps of your commercial real estate journey, creating consistent income in commercial real estate, commercial loans all have maturities, meaning repeat transactions. Imagine landing deals even in a slow residential market. I know this market is definitely adjusting. Imagine getting bigger commission checks. Imagine having weekends off with your family instead of showing buyers around doing open houses on Saturdays and Sundays, and then some people stealing your signs, right? Building a commission as well as portfolio income. Imagine being an insider in commercial real estate when they're coming to you versus you having to chase them. Imagine getting requests for refinance, even in a high interest rate environment. Commercial real estate, we're not doing 30-year fixed. A lot of the time it's a 3, 5, 7 year adjustable. So how many times you're going to get refinanced? If you're focused on the lending world, well, how many commission checks are those? Imagine the next year, this time next year, you'll no longer have just one source of income, but multiple from all the doors, buildings, and assets in your portfolio. Imagine not having to worry about the feast and famine cycles of residential real estate. Without a clear roadmap, you'll stay stuck on the sidelines or trapped in a career you don't love, watching others get wealthy through commercial real estate. You probably tried networking with investors who never took you very seriously because maybe it's something you said or how you came across as a rookie. Taking random CRE webinars that left you more confused. And you probably also tried thinking your residential license would automatically open commercial doors. That is definitely not the case. Chasing big deals without understanding the numbers behind them. And maybe trying to fake the confidence when someone said cap rate or net operating income, NOI. And folks, it's not your fault. Okay. Why? Because you didn't have the right tools. You didn't have the knowledge, you didn't have the analysis tools, and you didn't have the roadmap. The truth really is you don't need years of experience or a big brokerage, as we mentioned some of the stories earlier about the success people already have had working with us. You don't need to spend years getting a finance degree. You don't need to wait 2 years to get your first deal. You don't even need to spend so many months cold calling. You don't need to try to learning it on YouTube. The key is to follow the FAR method, FAR. Okay, remember, F is a foundation that we're laying out today. Will help you become fluent in commercial real estate. Hopefully, some of you took pictures of those slides and study them. Study them between now and tomorrow. You'll have that foundation, the 6 pillars we talked about. Analyze. Again, we're going to go way deeper into analysis tomorrow. So make sure you drink a lot of coffee, have your calculators ready to go. We'll walk you step by step through figuring out the viability of any commercial deal in minutes versus years, months, or weeks. You're going to have the roadmap. We'll show you how you can get from where you are to where you want to be. Okay. See how getting these steps right will lead you to success and start closing right away. Would you like me to show you how to master this process in the next couple of days? All right, I see some thumbs up, some head nods. Anything else in the chat we see that we need to point out, Susanna? Everybody's pretty excited? All right, good. Let me know in the chat which part of the process you probably need most help with. Is it the foundation? Is it analysis, underwriting? Or is it the roadmap? FAR, which part do you really need help on? 1, 2, or 3? F, foundation. You need a strong foundation. A, number 2, or R? What do we see here mostly, Susanna?
Capital raising, all of it, analysis, foundation, it's all across the board. I'm gonna have a bone to pick with one of these people here later. Fundraising is a big one, but here's the thing. I know we're going to cover all 3, and tomorrow we're going to talk about our, the kind of more advanced program that we have. I will drive it home with everyone that without the foundation, you can't go to the next step. You just can't. Number 1, I won't allow it. Number 2, you're just going to fall flat on the face and come back to foundation until we do. And we're going to give you those tools.
Yeah, and I know, folks, it's a little past 6. We promised you an hour. If you need to go, we are recording, and we'll get you access to that. So if you need to go, it's okay. We're recording. If you're more than welcome to stick around. We're almost done here. Now let's recap what we covered today. Okay. We agreed that CRE is the best way to build wealth. Let's all agree right now that commercial real estate is the best way to build wealth, especially especially in today's economy and marketplace. If you guys see what I am seeing, what Susanna is seeing, you will get so crazy excited. I also coach some commercial title reps right now who are having the biggest months of their career ever, ever. I had one gentleman make over $400,000 in 1 month last month. It's getting really, really juicy and exciting, guys.
Joe, should we tell them about the deal that just closed? Actually, I wasn't working on it, but it was in our group.
Go
This
for it.
this is not, you guys don't, it did actually happen, true story, but don't think you're gonna get those types of results right away. We closed a $195 million hospitality deal. That we did the financing for it at 1.5 points origination, which is $3 million. So that was the gross commission for the LO. I can't
Massive.
take credit for it. It wasn't my deal. I'm working on a much smaller 25 million, but this was, I believe it was the largest transaction for our group.
Yeah, my clients
Just closed 2 days ago.
are having a tough time sleeping because it's getting very, very exciting. I mean, you talk about trades at 20 million, 40 million. Just do the math. 1% even at those numbers could be very, very juicy. We went through examples of incredible returns CRE provides. We just shared a few more other experiences that we're seeing right now that weren't even on the slides. We shared the method that will help you get your first CRE deal. The key is to follow the FAR method. Keep remembering this foundation, 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 foundation. You cannot build a home on quicksand. You need a strong foundation. You can't build a building on wood, right? You need very, very strong foundation and rebar and, gravel, some reinforcement. Analyze. We'll walk you step by step through figuring out the viability of any commercial deal in minutes. So make sure you're here tomorrow, guys, because our time, people pay us a lot of money, what we're about to share tomorrow for free. Okay. Our roadmap will show you how you can get from where you are to where you want to be. Okay, we learned the foundation of all commercial deals, the 6 pillars of every CRE deal: NOI, cash flow, cap rate, financing options, buyer profile, industry, and your buy box, basically. So, um, write this down, take a picture, put this in the school community or on Facebook. I want to see my serious people, the people that aren't afraid to grow, the people that aren't afraid to get out of their comfort zone. I Again, take a picture and put your name or type this all in school or Facebook, and we're watching, guys. Commit to implement the FAR method I learned this week to gain personal and financial success in commercial real estate. I commit. And again, put that in school, put it here, put it on Facebook, put it one or all. Now that you have the foundation, get your reps in. You don't get muscles when you go to the gym on day one. You can't run a marathon on day one. We got to build the reps in. Make sure you memorize the 6 pillars of all commercial deals. Start looking at deals tonight. When we're done here, I want you jumping on LoopNet, jumping on Crexy. Somebody put LoopNet or CoStar is where deals go to die. Yes and no, because believe it or not, there's some residential agents that are putting deals that they don't have any clue what they're putting on that website. I've coached some of them and I taught them different, and now they become investors. Start looking at deals and practice answering each of the 6. Okay. How to analyze your numbers in CRE will show you how to identify winning deals in 5 minutes. And that's tomorrow, folks. Don't worry, we've got you. Q&A time. So if you want to stick around, we'll answer a few questions and then we'll start wrapping it up. Again, that's a school community. Make sure you join it. There's a lot of people already starting to engage. There's a lot of people wanting to help others. And if you need to leave, again, we're done. We're just going to stick around for some Q&A. See you guys tomorrow at 5 p.m. Same link as today. If you need to go, we totally understand. You've got dinner, you got kids. My couple of dogs are wanting their walk, so they're barking. But I get it. I totally get it. So you're more than welcome to stay. Do you see any questions we need to address, Susanna?
Let me scroll. John was asking what our buy box is.
Oh, nice. Nice. Where's John? Has he already left?
John, no, he's still
Has
here.
not
Oh,
left.
Norbeck. Okay. There you are. Okay. I can tell you mine pretty quick. I actually made a video right before this training today. And I also, if you were in the insider circle, I know Steven's one of our folks. Look out for that video. I like to typically, if I'm in state, honestly, if I'm in my backyard, I'm okay with the small ones. 2 to 4 units, I'm totally okay. Especially at our price points with a fourplex or even a duplex is at $1 million, and I could flip it for 1.5, 2 million. I'll make a few 100,000. I'm okay local. If I go out of state, I want boots on the ground. I want more than 20,000 square feet. I want value add potential, right? If I'm looking at pictures on LoopNet or you send me pictures and these units already have the value add, new carpet, I don't want it. If it's off market, my antennas are way up. Okay, so that's part of my buy box. Off market, 20,000 square feet. I need a value add. I'm going to go on Google Maps and Google Earth just like you. If I see the rooftop needs to be replaced, if I do my numbers and I know there's enough juice out of that squeeze, I may go for it. Okay.
Okay.
Numbers, I'm not too caught up in the numbers. I'm not looking at cap rates all the time. If I hear a story, meaning death, divorce, distressed, I'm interested. I'm very interested because this is a highly motivated potential seller that sometimes, folks, you don't have to try and find a deal. Deals could be created with that story. Okay. If you're dealing with a baby boomer, a senior, sometimes they don't need the cash, folks. And if they don't need cash, I'm going into creative financing. Okay. My asset classes I mentioned earlier, multifamily, storage. I know these pretty darn good. I know what to look for. And I bought smaller units in the past out of state, and they didn't do me too well. And I learned from that I want 20,000 square feet. I want out of state. I want enough room to chop it up and maybe increase the density and increase the income. Okay. So if it's enough room to create more density or land to expand and build more units, I'm very interested. That's what we also call the value add. Okay, so I want you to look for that. My vacancy, I don't want it too low, guys. Especially if it's out of state. I don't need a major heavy lift. Okay, I bought properties at 5% occupancy. That is a heavy lift. And I'm in
Mhm.
this stage of life that I don't want to do that, especially if it's out of state. But
Yeah, or vacant.
if you're the lead GP or the operator with a good amount of experience that I know, like, and trust, I'll let you run it. And I might raise the capital or help you raise the capital, and I may be a limited partner or a co-GP. So if you're one of those folks that are pretty seasoned, no, have a license, been in the game a while, but you just don't have the right connections, hard raising capital, I might JV with you. So I'd rather have it somewhat performing, meaning above maybe 60% occupancy. And so we could stabilize it pretty quick and we could get in and out and then 1031 or do the next one. Okay, so John, hopefully that was enough stuff out of the
That
buy
helped.
box. That
Absolutely.
So
perfect.
we've got some
Perfect.
more questions. Neil's asking, do you get into building an LO business as well as a CRE wholesale buy and hold business? So LO, I assume, means loan officer. So we do actually train new people to become loan officers. And in some cases, people who join our program, they will actually, join our group as, LOs. That there's a a possibility to do that based on, performance and deal flow and all that. As well as CRE wholesale. I love wholesale deals. I like, who doesn't like wholesale deals? It's a bit of a grind. It can be very profitable. And I wish more people did that in commercial real estate. We do see them every now and then. I actually bought one like 7 or 8 years ago. It was a pretty good deal, but I basically just I just flipped it because it was such a good deal and it was on the smaller side. And buy and hold, both Joe and I still have buy and hold. And our, people in our group, they have, massive deals both in and out of state. So yeah, so here's the thing that I want to say about that. Guys, you guys can get involved on whatever level you want. If you want to just start making some cash and start referring deals, once you know how to talk about deals and know the 6 pillars and know what's a deal and what isn't a deal, you will get, referral commissions. And then from there, if you'd rather, invest in your own deals or syndicate, you can do that. If you want to be the loan officer, I'm doing that. I love it, but it is, nothing's easy in life, right? That's an option. Or you want to be an agent, you want to start listing it, jump in wherever you guys feel comfortable. Do you have anything to add before I go to the next question, Joe?
Yeah. I'll unpack that first one a little bit more and also talk a little bit more about Ed's question here. So wholesale, if you're a newbie, not any residential or real estate background or no license, I recommend it. Where it's one of these things that, you probably have more time than most. You probably could have access to a computer, and that's where you're going to add value to the group, whether it's our group or you have a rich friend, a rich uncle that wants to get into commercial real estate. Get into wholesale, where essentially on a wholesale single family, you're probably looking at, a 5 to 10% usually wholesale fee, or 5 to 10,000 on the low. On commercial real estate, add another zero. That could technically be your wholesale fee, and I highly, highly recommend it, where you're basically selling the contract. Okay, so you want to make sure you have a good contract to tie up the property, and then you could flip it, wholesale it to somebody like me who will take it all the way to the finish line. Okay, or Susanna. And then with Ed, getting into that, you guys could go on YouTube and learn all the stuff we're talking about. But guess what? It's very scattered, and you're going to have to watch this person get this person get this person get this, and then you're more and more confused because the information is out there on YouTube. But tell you what, when I was trying to learn, like, a lot of you guys came into our funnel, and I was trying to learn on YouTube how to build funnels and lead magnets and et cetera on YouTube. It's the same thing in commercial real estate, folks. We decided to hire professionals to work with us, to build out our funnels, to do our ads, and here you are, because I don't know most of you. And that's the same thing with commercial real estate. You want to hire the professionals, Ed, and take you step by step, and don't give you everything, but take you and coach you where you're at, because we do have a very organized system and program where we might go really fast because you know the information and skip a few steps, or we'll take you from very, very basic. And openly, I'll talk about our first module, our first trainings on goal setting, because without clarity, there's no power. When you get crystal clear on what you really, really want or don't want, including your buy box, now we laser focus. And on just that one module, one training, I'm going to give homework. Whoever I'm coaching, you better believe we're not just going to skip over to the next. I want clarity, because the more that I know you have clarity, it accelerates your success, right? Whether it's in commercial real estate, residential, or even at the gym. You go to the gym, there's weights, there's Pilates, there's what are you focused on, right? And so I'm going to help you. Suzanne's going to help you get that clarity, that focus, and Ed, that's how we're going to do it, because we do have a system, a roadmap to get you exactly where you need to be. You'll get a lot of it between now and Friday, but we go way, way, way deeper when we start coaching and training one-on-one and our VIP group sessions for some of our paid coaching clients and mentees.
So the next question is from Steve. How are you in terms of analyzing T12s and how does this play into the 6 pillars? So that's a little more, that's like a step more advanced than what I talked about tonight, Steve. But basically the NOI numbers that you saw in that listing that I had pulled from LoopNet, that was based on the T12. Sometimes they base it on the T3, and for anybody who doesn't know, the T means for trailing. So it's a trailing 12 months. So you're going back 12 months and looking at the performance of the property. That's a very common number. So for example, like right now we're in November. So we're going to be looking at December of last year all the way through November. But some properties that have recently been stabilized have to be financed like on a T3 on the last 3 months, the trailing 3. But that's where your NOI numbers and your cap rate and all of that is based on the trailing numbers. So that's a very good question, a little more advanced. Happy to see that. Ajay is asking, how do you find motivated sellers? Joe.
So Audrey, the way I find motivated sellers, a couple of really, really easy ways. I talk to a lot of people. A closed mouth does not get fed. Remember that. A closed mouth does not get fed. This is the cheapest, easiest way to market. I was out in Texas. I came back last night and I met so many wonderful people. I got clarity what I'm looking for. I know what I'm going for, and that's the easiest way. The other way is I've got a lot of different data and lists that I subscribe to, I pay for. I have marketers that are helping me build funnels and lead magnets. And yes, there's paid ways that I do, and there's letters that I do, and there's all kinds of other different things that I put out there, especially if you're in our inner circle, and I openly share with all my inner circle group because, I might end up doing a deal with you. And if you want that kind of support, you better believe. And that's not our only goal. I want you to succeed with us or without us when we start giving you all these tools and training. And just jump on my YouTube channel. I'm sharing a lot there, even on that CREIC YouTube channel. We're just trying to add value. And we know, like, if you're looking out there, you're not going to get all the information unless you get into, a support system group that will help um, with that. And hopefully
So,
that covered your question.
yeah, and then also you're being modest because you just came back from a conference that covered REO, which is real estate owned. So all the stuff that's been foreclosed or held by banks. So Joe is an insider there. John
Amazing.
is saying he's looking for a mentor. We'll talk about that more, and you can schedule a call with us. We do have some one-on-one mentees. It's on a different program than what we're doing here, but absolutely, would love to talk to you. Ed Soriano, nice to see you again. I'm a complete newbie, which you and I spoke before, so I don't think you're a complete newbie. What is the training format? Do we start with the book learning, supplement with lectures? Okay, so this is a good question. Like, what's a good way, like truly? Okay, so this is a 3-day challenge, and we'll try to give you as much information as possible and try to show you what it looks like. But our other program that we're going to give you the option tomorrow, and we try to make it accessible to everybody. It's more of a boot camp because I'm going to insist on that foundation where we're going to look at different deals. I think you guys should look at 100 deals. We're going to go through every property type, look at 10 deals, answer the 6 questions until it becomes like second nature and what I call fluency. So once you're fluent, right? Once you know how to analyze the deals and spot a good one, whether you may not want to buy it, but you may want to just refer it to me for financing or refer it to Joe for listing or refer it to somebody else. You can get referral fees, but don't waste your time referring deals that can't be done. So once you're fluent and you know how to analyze them, you'll be able to spot them, and now you can start making money. So that's kind of the format, but courses are of course valuable because there's a lot of information there. Guys, you guys need to be part of the community, and you need to have mentors. You need to have somebody who's going to walk you through it, right? We all know that. I've purchased courses before. Some of them were actually great. I never implemented them because I wasn't kind of part of, anything, and I didn't have a mentor who's going to keep me accountable. Whether it's in a group setting or individual setting, it depends on how far and how fast you want to go. That's what Joe and I are here for. We do want to do this. We love this industry. But the key differentiator is we're not going to send you home with a course, right? Because you will just read it, and without implementation, it doesn't mean anything. And I think the roadmap is a critical part of that.
100%, 100%. Some of my favorite states, going back to the buy box, I'm in California, so of course, California. Surrounding states, of course, I could hop in a plane. As a matter of fact, in December, I'm going to Vegas. I'm hopping on an early flight, meeting with some of my partners out there, and I'm hopping back on the plane same day at 9 o'clock. I will buy properties in Vegas. I'll buy properties in Arizona. I'll buy properties Northern California. If I could hop on a plane and be back the same day in time for dinner, that's a market I want to be in. Okay. Other states to consider if you're writing it down. I own property. I have owned properties in Texas. I have a massive team in Texas, all parts of Texas, Houston, Dallas, Sherman, Weatherford. I was just at Irving. I know Texas very, very well. I have a lot of boots on the ground there. I'm very open to Texas. I own some properties in Arkansas, Georgia, Tennessee. Those are states I like a lot because I have properties there as well. So if you want to add that to your buy box criteria, John, have at it. Those are definitely my favorites, for sure. Chicago, yeah, I actually have some boots on the ground there. I have friends in Algonquin, Barrington. Um, Closer to Wisconsin. I forget the name of the area now, but being in the industry such a long, long time, I've got lots of boots on the ground all over the country. So I'm very, very open. And part of
Was
my
it
criteria, guys, you might want to write this down. As an investor, Ed, especially you, Ed, being a newbie, live where you want to live, invest where it makes money. Remember that. Live where you want to live, and that's where it makes money. This is where people get the mistake, is they think they're going to live in it. No. If the property makes you money, let's go. Right?
Did you see the comments? Number one, John, you're funny. So closed mouth doesn't get fed. True. And Roy Hart is very quiet, but he's typing in there. I think this was in response on how do you find, off market or good deals. And he's talking about the utility meters and the shut off personnel, right? So I mean that's hardcore. Yeah, you're if you take it to that level, how are you like you're going to be successful, right? Especially if you're looking at, either off market or even wholesale deals. Sounds like Roy has had a lot of lending experience too in the past, so that's going to be a good good addition to our discussion here.
Yeah. There's lots of ways, folks. I mean, another secret or trick of the trade. I mean, if you are wanting to do deals in your area, and you're in an area where the mailbox is in front of your house and a mailman's going house to house to house, get to know the mailman because those are eyes and somebody who knows the neighbors very well. He could hear what's going on. Really, I mean, get acquainted with your local postman or woman that could be those eyeballs. I had somebody who was in the solar industry one time when solar was hot and heavy, door knocking. These canvassers are great bird dogs for you. I've been in the industry a long time, folks. So a lot of these tricks of the trade I've either done or some of my clients have done, and they worked out very, very good. If you have money, man, do funnels, guys. Spend your money on funnels and lead magnets online. There's a great way to do that. That's a next higher level, different level. But these are check equity or sweat equity. If you don't have a lot of money, you're doing sweat equity, no question. Okay, you're door knocking, you're having, making calls, you're in networking groups, and that works too, guys. Okay, check equity or sweat equity, pick. If you have both, do both. Okay, because I know a lot of people that are doing a lot of videos, but when comes time to lead follow up, they say fortune's made in the follow up, they don't follow up. or when they actually have these leads, they don't know how to talk to them. So you got to learn the scripts, the language, the closing techniques, what have you. So eventually you're going to have to learn sweat equity as well. So I'd rather you start with sweat equity, talking to people, then move to check equity where you're buying leads and targeting leads.
And don't do any of it without the foundation.
Beautiful. All right, cool. So we're going to stick around a few more minutes and wrap it up because I know some of you are hungry for dinner. I know my dogs are hungry for a walk.
There aren't any more questions, Joe.
No?
So,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, we are grateful you guys are here taking charge of your future. We are grateful that you want to do something with your life. And that's a big part of what keeps me going for sure. When I see that our people are still interested, wanting to change their lives or their kids or their, mom or dad's life, I get driven more than ever. I get very driven when Susanna's just nudging me too. It's like, dude, there's no time for rest, Joe. Keep going. So she's a great partner to have. She's a great motivator. Some of you need accountability, and that's what this community will provide for at least 3 days. As long as you're here these next 3 days, you're going to have some good accountability. We're going to be looking at school. We're going to be looking at Facebook, and not just me. It's your other peer group around here. So, see you guys tomorrow. I'm grateful for you. Commit. I saw John committed. I know Dylan's very committed. I know Steven is very committed. These are people taking charge. Talks cheap. Action speaks louder than words, folks. All right. If there's no other questions, comments, anything else, Susanna?
Nope, I think we got it. Everybody else is just commenting. I think they like being here, but I think we're done with the questions for the night. So why don't we save the rest for tomorrow?
Sounds good. Have a good night, everybody. Take care.
Good night.